I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Kirk Lowe. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Very good, thank you.
It's a great pleasure to connect with you, Kirk. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Oshawa, Ontario, which is in Canada, which is about 45 minutes east of Toronto.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
I suspect it's my marketing on social media and my podcasting experience.
Yeah, podcaster, family podcaster. Tell us about your podcast, please.
It's called Top Advisor Marketing, and we speak to financial advisors or financial professionals, mostly in North America, but I do look at our stats and we get worldwide coverage, which most podcasters would. And we teach them how to be better marketers. Mm-hmm. And we add in some other stuff too from time to time, practice how to run their business and things like that.
That's good.
But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, very, very educational. And we try our best to give a lot of value, follow up papers and lists and ideas versus it being simply a sales funnel.
Who did you learn the skill of podcasting from?
My partner and on the podcast, his name's Matt Halloran, and he used to be a radio announcer way back when. He's done all kinds of interesting things. Navy, was on a radio program. He's been a business coach for 10 years plus in financial services, and now he's my business partner at my company, Top Advisor Marketing.
That's great. Now, tell us about the company, Top Advisor, and what you do there.
We help advisors find themselves in their business and what their value proposition and how their value proposition is and how to communicate that to their audience. So help them develop their brand. And then we consult on websites, teach them how to write their own white paper, how to develop their own content. We actually help them run their own podcasts. We do their social media. We run marketing events for them. Or events. We help them with marketing their events, I should say. And a couple other things, but we're a very intimate boutique marketing company, and we do specific things that are very efficient because I'm a very practical person. So we try to focus on things that are going to make a lot of sense over the long term for an advisor versus trying to do very tactical, trendy things in the short term that often don't last.
Yeah. So who did you learn that from? Who did you learn that person? Who did you, is it your father or your family member that was tactical as well, strategical, efficient?
Everything that I've learned in business has just been from my own experiences. I do not have any business people in my family, and it was tough getting going, but I've done everything all on my own.
That's great.
Moved to the city from Nova Scotia originally and started with nothing and built from there.
Wow, congratulations, Kirk. It's good to speak to you on the other side of that journey.
Yes. You can relate to it. It's definitely a point of connection for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, most definitely. That being said, why will you continue on this path?
I enjoy helping people, to be quite honest. And I one of the things that's probably kept me from having more revenue and profit success is that I tend to want to do what's right for people. Sometimes people just want you to do what they want. And I've had lots of business people tell me over the years that sometimes if you want to make a lot of money, you just have to do what people want and give that to them. I've always struggled with that. But I think it's paying a lot of dividends later in my career because I've built a reputation. I like to think that is about doing the right thing for people. And I've had so much practice at doing the right things that I can do them better than a lot of other people.
Yeah, love that. Hey, that's definitely one of my things as well. But I've decided that this is going to be for the longevity of and the legacy of what the brand Angel Jones represents, because I just can't do it. I just can't. And this is one of the ways I'm using can't. I can't be the person that's just doing it blindly, charging you money for something that I do not believe can bring value. I just can't. I'm not going to.
Yeah. Angel, one of my favorite stories is just kind of happening to me right now, about my personal journey or my career journey. And that is that I was in this opportunity. I've been hired by a company on the West Coast, I'd say about 4.5 years ago. And we were hired by a guy, and there was another consultant, and we started working together. And sometimes when two consultants to work together, they've been hired by a third party, it can be some friction, but we got along great. And I always like getting along with everybody because I know everybody's got something to contribute, even though our roles had some crossover, and didn't take that personally and tried my best. And as it turned out, halfway through that project, the guy that had hired us got fired along with a whole bunch of other staff. They brought in a whole new team to run this company. And we never heard from anybody. They just didn't call us back. They paid us all of our fees, which was really interesting. And then about 2 years, I reached out to this guy. His name happens to be Kirk as well. And he said, I was just about to call you, and this is crazy. And so for 2 years now, he had a startup financial technology company, and it all came from this relationship that didn't work out. But because I did the right things when I was in that relationship, he remembered me, had been tracking my career and all my thought leadership, and subsequently hired me to be his chief marketing officer for the startup, which is on the cusp of getting quite a few $1 million to launch us. And so it's just funny. Sometimes I feel like, geez, maybe have I finally just gotten lucky here? But I don't think when you put all that time and effort into being a good professional, you earn these opportunities when they come along. And the money's not in the bank, and the company hasn't sold for millions of dollars yet, but it's an interesting journey, and one that I'm about to embark on and really looking forward to.
Yeah, all the best. Well, I stand in agreement for you that is sealed. I do appreciate you sharing that story, and I mean, it definitely resonates in terms of just having the opportunity to see that story. I think is worth the money in the bank.
Absolutely.
Well, do tell us one other thing, Kirk, you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
I've been pretty consistent at creating content. And I recognize that if you want to be seen as and respected as a thought leader, you can't just be a thought leader on a Monday and not show up the other 6 days of the week. I don't mean that literally as in every day, but as an example in life, you have to be there being a thought leader all the time. And you have to be able to graciously share that. So creating content is something that I do frequently. I enjoy doing it, and I don't hold back when I create content and share wisdom.
Yeah, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I'm making a difference, because I'm not just trying to restrict who I can teach. And I think a lot of people think that if your market is only people who will spend a big chunk of money to hire you, you shouldn't talk to the other people. I like to help everybody, because those people eventually will be opportunities, and it's good to be part of helping them along their journey too. It's back to you.
Wise guy. Kirk Lowe, folks. Kirk Lowe. So we're live with Kirk Lowe, amazing audience. One more time again, he is the podcast host of Top Advisor Marketing. You can connect with him there. Listen to wisdom in action. Where's one other place you point people to, Kirk?
One other place I point people to?
Yeah, to connect with you.
LinkedIn is a big one.
Okay. Is there any other place that you want to put out there?
My podcast and LinkedIn are two places that are great opportunities to listen to me.
Wonderful. Well, Kirk, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Kirk, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, my goodness. Being at the beach in Nova Scotia. It's not Caribbean water, but I remember that vividly. I've actually got a picture of me when I was about 6 or 7 on a beach with my white hair. So bleached, with a dog that my parents had gotten from a couple who were divorced, and he had licked the ice cream right off my ice cream cone. Just remember that.
How old do you think you were?
I think I was 6 or 7.
Why do you think this memory is so clear, and how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
I think my kids, I notice with my kids when we go on vacation, we can take them to theme parks. We can go to all kinds of places. But when we get to the beach, it's like a spiritual place. There's the wind, the waves. It drowns out everything, and you can just connect with the sand between your toes, the water, whether it's cold or salty, or it's just an exhilarating, at the same time, peaceful place to be. So I suspect that's why I love it so much.
That's cool.
Family does too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How would you connect the dog licking your ice cream off the cone though?
That's just because I have a picture of it. That was at the beach, and I remember a lot of the times going to the beach with my families. I don't know that we had time to do it frequently because there were 4 kids and we had busy lives. But I do remember. I remember being at beaches as being part of the better times of my life with my kids or with my siblings.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Yes.
Yeah, I love the idea, right, of how a situation sets up the perfect opportunity for others. So it's like the beach is there, you are there, the ice cream is there, but it's like the perfect marketing advertisement, right? Just for the ice cream at this particular point in time where the dog just licks the ice cream off of the cone, right? It's amazing, isn't it?
It's not a particularly great place to eat an ice cream, if you think about it. Blowing sand, hot. I have no idea how I would have had an ice cream on the beach.
Exactly. Like, how did you get that ice cream? But I guess it speaks again to marketing, right, and action.
Yes. And there's it's kind of like you're in this beautiful, perfect place and everything seems perfect, and then all of a sudden something bad happens. But the bad thing is just so insignificant in the moment that it's laughable. And it's not almost laughable. It is like it's nothing. And I think when you're focused on the right things, so I'll make my own turn back to marketing here.
Yeah.
When you're focused on doing the right things, being in the right places for all the right reasons, the little failures in marketing don't add up. You'll remember, and people remember you for being at the beach. They won't remember you for the ice cream falling, right?
I love it. There we go. Love it. If we fast forward to when you were 12, Kirk, what was your favorite song?
I can't remember the name of it, but Pearl Jam did a rendition of it. But I remember it was on an K-Tel Explosion 22 album. And it's actually a really dreary song about somebody's love dying in a car crash.
Okay. All right.
But Pearl Jam did another rendition, Oh Where Can My Baby Be? She went and left me, something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to sing, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You don't need to sing it. It's okay. I mean, you could if you wanted.
Good idea. That's what I meant.
All right, Kirk. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Kirk?
Yes.
Kirk, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have children?
4 of them.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in spirituality.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do. It's small.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't have time.
What about 3 hours a week?
Oh, yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Probably about bang on average there.
If you had to share with us, Kirk, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Kirk Lowe, what would you say that is?
I think if you want to achieve something or whatever you want to achieve, is you have to put yourself out there in that world to be able to move towards it.
Kirk Lowe, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think, Engel, you're doing exactly what I just said. And find interesting and fun ways to combine life and business, which is exactly what you're doing. And go have fun.
Go have fun. Even if the dog licks the ice cream off the cone, still have fun. Kirk Lowe, this is a great pleasure. One more time, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.